Hello and welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me live and, of course, on the replay. Wherever you may be catching this, let me know you're here so that I can send you some love and, of course, answer any questions that you might have. My name is Cindy. I'm a quantum numerologist and wealth activator, and I work for an organization that is passionate about helping you seize your personal power and reclaim your mind so that you can land into absolute prosperity, understand your purpose, and open yourself up to absolute wonderful possibilities. So today's conversation, I really want to dive into the how. For those of you who know me, you've heard me say this before. There is no fucking mountain. And that isn't something that I've just randomly come up with. No, this is something that I have lived and breathed and beginning to understand. Now, the concept of there is no fucking mountain. The mountain is the how. And it's not your job to know how. I work with clients all the time who are building online businesses, who are entrepreneurs, and who are striving towards certain financial goals. And in those financial goals and the desire to create more wealth in their life, the mind is patterned to understand that what we see in our bank account, what we see outside of ourselves, is what's real. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. So I always get the question, but how am I going to create that kind of money? How am I going to build all the things that creates that flow of wealth? And it's not your job to know how. Here's what your job is. There's three pieces that you need to pay attention to and be aware of. Number one, you need to know who you are. In a world full of social media and public figures and motivational speakers and inspirational speakers and coaches and healers, it's so crucial that you know who you are and that you stand firm in that and you have boundaries around that, because it's so easy to compare ourselves to everyone else out there. And we feel like we need to have the pretty website, the pretty PDF, the pretty face, whatever it is, the gorgeous graphics, all of the things. And it's simply not true. What you need to know is who you are on a deep cellular level. And one of the places you can start with understanding that is knowing what your top three values are. Anybody who's worked with me knows their top three values off the top of their head. My top three values: wealth, integrity, and excellence. I know that I stand for those. Those three things matter to me. They are important to me. And so the decisions that I make throughout my day, throughout my week, throughout my months, line up with those three values. And if they are not in alignment with those three values, then I understand that I am compromising myself, which means I don't matter. So when we choose our values, we're not just choosing them willy-nilly. We're choosing to align with those three things. And therefore, we're choosing what matters most to us. So I invite you to lean into that and understand, at least, at the very least, what's most important to you. There are lots of other ways you can lean into this through numerology, personality assessments, simply contemplating what it is that's going on in your mind and getting to know yourself, studying yourself, really spending lots of time in the reflection of you. So if you don't know how to do that, if you want to deep dive into that, reach out to me and let me know, because we can definitely get you clear on that number one step: know who you are. Number two, you need to know what you want. And this one trips a lot of people up. I know it tripped me up in the beginning too, where I didn't understand that I could ask for anything I wanted. And oftentimes I would get stuck in the, well, I'm going to ask for this because it feels like it's what I should ask for. And it's not what I really wanted. It's what my parents wanted for me, or it's what my grandparents wanted for me. Or maybe I was afraid to ask for what I wanted because it felt too big. Like, who am I to want that? So we have to get to that place deep inside of ourselves where there's no judgment, where we can have whatever the fuck we want. And that can be a little bit tricky to get there. So I invite you to spend some time really contemplating and reflecting on, what is it that I truly want? And is this something that I want, or is this something that someone else in my life thinks I want? Or is it something that I feel like society expects me to want? Really get clear. Because when it comes to wealth, it's tricky. I remember asking for, I just wanted $5,000 a month. And then all of the stories, well, that's, of course, that's the number that most beginner coaches go for. And it was an expectation. It was societal expectation. It wasn't what I truly wanted. What I truly wanted was bigger, bolder, braver. And when we get into that place inside of us where there's no judgment, where we're allowed to have whatever we want, where you come into the space of the heart and you breathe into it and you ask the heart, what would you want? If someone waved a magic wand and you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? And the heart begins to beat for that. And the heart begins to nudge you in the direction that you want. And I'm kind of giggling right now because my cat is beside me and he really wants the fly that's in his food. So he's chirping at a fly right now. It's amusing. All right, so step number 1, know who you are. Step number 2, know what you want. And then step number 3, get into the emotional state of why you want it. So I remember when I first dove into the expression that I want in my life, where I got really clear on that vision, I had to get to a place because my vision is big and bold and brave and it is out there. And when I got into that, there was a little bit of like, oh, and I got caught up in the how. It's a big vision. So how am I going to do that? How am I going to get to the place where that could actually be true? And then I remembered there is no fucking mountain. And I took a step back and I put my hands on my heart and I asked myself, why is that so important? And when we touch base with the how, or with the why, not the how, when we get into that why, we begin to feel the body activate. We start to feel emotional stimuli in the body. We start to feel these sensations in the body that trigger the emotions of that feeling, of that intention, of that vision. And so when I think of my why, when I think about what I want and why I want it, I can feel the bubbles rising up in my stomach. I can feel goosebumps all over my skin. I get giddy inside. I get excited. I get so pumped up. I start talking faster. I start waving my hands. I get really animated just thinking about it and feeling about it. And when I know these 3 things, who I am, what I want, and why I want it, it begins to move the energy. And the quantum field, universe, God, source, whatever label you choose to give it, begins to meet you there. And the inspiration comes. And my only job is to focus on those 3 things. And then what's next? It is not my job to know the 42 million things that happen after that. It is only my job to know those 3 things and what's next. And I go and do the what's next. And the what's next might be sit in front of my computer for an hour and do some work, or it might be take a nap. But I trust that and I listen to it. And then I ask again, what's next? And again, what's next? It's not about trying to control all of the pieces. I come from a project management background. Trust me, I know how to reverse engineer something, but that never works. In case you haven't noticed, the world changes quickly and our plans change quickly because everyone that we are impacting is also changing. And so when we have a plan that's reverse engineered and we got to do this, and these are the next steps, we don't leave any room for possibility. So it's about not controlling the outcome. That's the how, that's the mountain. And it's about knowing those 3 things. Who are you? What do you want? Why do you want it? And that brings you into alignment, which opens you up for inspiration. And the inspiration is what's next. So hopefully that lands for you. That's how we call in more money to our bank accounts. That's how we start to see the evidence in the physical world. The evidence we're seeing in the physical world is a direct result of you focusing on who you are, what you want, and why you want it. And if you're not aware of those things, you're going to get very mixed physical results. The physical results are a measurement of your flow, which is those three things. I hope you have an incredible, incredible day. I love you. I believe in you, and I see your power. Bye for now.